Ladies, if you want him to finally recognize your worth, disappear. Not to get back at him, but to return to yourself. Trust me, when you're no longer waiting around, that's when he starts searching. And this time, it's not just to talk, it's to marry you. Hi, welcome back to Journey After 60. Today, we're unpacking 5 powerful shifts that when you do them, men will beg you to become their bride. Before we dive into today's topic, if what I share resonates with you, be sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and maybe even share it with a friend who might need some hope and inspiration in her own love story. So, let's explore where this journey of attraction begins. You might be surprised by what I have to say. Number 1. Stop relying on him. Show them that you are the only version of yourself. One of the most irresistible qualities a woman can carry into her golden years is the quiet confidence to stop relying on a man and instead give him space to prove himself to you. For many of us, this idea might seem unusual at first. We grew up in an era where women were encouraged to please, adapt, and earn the affection of a man by giving more of themselves. However, something powerful happens when you shift from needing his approval to knowing your own worth. The entire dynamic between you changes, and you hardly need to try anymore. Men over 60, like men of all ages, are attracted to women who are whole within themselves. They may enjoy admiration, and they may appreciate thoughtful gestures, but deep down, they hold a special respect for a woman who has lived a rich and fulfilling life. It's not about being distant or pretending to be busy. It's about truly believing that your worth doesn't depend on whether he calls, chooses you, or commits. Once this certainty becomes part of you, it begins to show in the way you move, the way you listen, and even in the way you present yourself in a room. I remember the first time I met Linda in August, who is now my fiancée. I was deeply impressed by her when she responded to a question about our future. She said, "I like my life as it is now. Show me why it would be better with you in it." That was simply the truth, spoken from a place of calm confidence. Her response was neither harsh nor subtly challenging, but it was a truth I found incredibly strong and magnetic. She knew she was whole, and any relationship would have to add to her life rather than try to fill a gap. That made me even more eager to win her over. You see, when you live with happiness, confidence, and purpose, whether from friendships, hobbies, family, or simply the joy of being alone, you begin to carry a certain charm that can't be faked. You no longer chase his attention because your joy doesn't depend on it. You can love freely without clinging, and give generously without fear of losing yourself. And for a man truly ready for love in his later years, that's incredibly attractive. It sends a clear message that you're with him because you want to be, not because you have to be. If you find this message valuable, don't forget to save this video so you can revisit it whenever you need a reminder. When you live this way, something profound will shift in the dynamics of your relationship. Once you realize your own worth, you create space for growth, not just in yourself, but in your partner as well. By living confidently and authentically, you subtly encourage him to step into his own greatness. In fact, this shift in energy is often exactly what a man needs to become the best version of himself, driven by the quiet strength you radiate. Number 2. You inspire him to become a better version of himself. Maya Angelou once said, "When we know better, we do better." The truth is, a woman who truly inspires a man doesn't do so through lectures, pressure, or nagging about change. She simply lives a full and purposeful life that in itself becomes a source of motivation. This is where the difference lies for a high-value woman. She doesn't need to prove anything, she doesn't need to show off, and she certainly doesn't need to motivate. Her genuine way of living, dedicated to personal growth, passion, and dreams, is enough to create natural attraction. Whether it's earning a degree, pursuing art, writing, or volunteering, it's not to attract anyone, but to nourish her soul. When a man witnesses the true passion in your eyes and the way you live, something is awakened in him. He remembers what it feels like to have ambition, to have dreams, to feel alive. This kind of attraction is powerful because it's not forced. You're not trying to get his attention. You're simply living your life with your whole soul. A woman who inspires doesn't try to change a man. She holds her identity firmly while steadily showing the path to growth through her own example. By being around her, he realizes what's possible when a person truly believes in themselves. And when you stay true to that journey, the motivation in the relationship changes deeply. The man doesn't just want to be with a successful and inspiring woman, he wants to grow alongside her. This isn't a shallow attraction. It's a pull that comes from genuine femininity. No games, no manipulation, just being your true self at the deepest level. By setting high standards for yourself, you naturally attract men who value depth, integrity, and authenticity. This is the foundation that creates lasting attraction and long-term commitment. While living a fulfilling life is an incredible motivator, the true magic happens when you make him feel seen and valued for who he really is, not just the man you want him to be. This sense of appreciation is what builds the emotional intimacy necessary for long-term love and respect. Number 3. Make him feel deeply valued for who he truly is. There comes a time in every relationship when the world fades into the background and a man wonders if the woman by his side truly sees the real him, beyond his history, roles, and achievements. Many relationships never go beyond the surface because while admiration is common, true recognition is rare. When you make a man feel deeply valued for his core self, not for what he can provide or how he can impress you, you enter a part of his heart that almost no one else can reach. Men in their 60s and 70s often live a lifetime being recognized for what they do, their work, their provisions, their achievements. But the armor of success can sometimes conceal softer qualities, quiet kindness, integrity, and deep values that often go unnoticed. When these qualities are acknowledged and appreciated, it's like a light being switched on in a room he thought would remain dark. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." When you listen with presence, you don't just hear words, you hear the essence of the person. And when you reflect to him what you see, his kindness, integrity, genuine value, you're telling him, I see you, I appreciate you. Not the mask you wear for the world, but the real you when no one else is looking. This is the essence of love in later years, not built on performance or flattery, but on genuine, lasting recognition. And when a man is seen in this way, he naturally opens up, becomes more engaged, and deepens his connection. You're not just someone he enjoys spending time with, you become the person he entrusts with his deepest self. A trust so profound that he imagines a future with you, not because you convinced him, but because you give him something no one else does. Have you ever experienced someone truly appreciating you for who you are, to the point that it changed how you see yourself? Share it in the comments. These stories remind us that love after 60 can touch the soul in ways that youth never could. When you truly value a man for who he is at his core, you create a bond that goes far beyond admiration or affection. This bond becomes the foundation for something even deeper, being the emotional safe haven where he feels safe to be vulnerable, authentic, and truly himself. It's in this space that love deepens and trust flourishes. Number 4. Become his emotional safe haven. Have you ever met someone who made you feel so safe that you could open up the deepest parts of yourself, the parts you've kept hidden for years? For many, that experience is rare. But for a man, finding such safety and love can change his life. When he has that with you, the bond between you becomes unbreakable in a way that nothing else can replace. Emotional safety isn't the same as comfort. Comfort smiles, agrees, and avoids conflict. Safety runs deeper. It's the unspoken understanding that with you, he can lay down the burdens he's carried for decades. It's the feeling that he can share both his strengths and vulnerabilities without fear of judgment or rejection. For a man in his 60s or 70s who has lived a life conditioned to be strong and suppress emotions, this acceptance feels like finding an oasis in a long desert. Linda, my best friend, remarried 2 years ago in her 70s. One evening, her husband, a retired engineer, came home unusually silent. During dinner, he nearly withdrew into himself. Linda didn't rush to ask. She simply gently touched his hand and said, "You don't need to say anything right now. Just know that I'm here." That evening, he shared his deep fears about his health, worried he might become a burden. Linda didn't deny or quickly try to find a solution. She just listened, looked into his eyes, and showed him that she truly understood. From that moment, he began to open up about things he had never said before. Emotional safety in love isn't about never having disagreements. It's knowing that even disagreements won't shake trust. It's reflected in how you respond when he admits mistakes, in the patience you show when he's frustrated, and in the compassion you offer when he reveals his fears. These small, consistent gestures send a clear message: you're safe here. Every part of you is welcome here. The poet Rumi once wrote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." When a man trusts you with his wounds, he's not just sharing information. He's giving you a deep part of himself that few others will ever touch. And from that, trust forms the solid foundation that makes the relationship feel unbreakable. When you are his emotional safe haven, he doesn't just see you as his partner, he sees you as home. Offering him emotional safety strengthens your bond, but true love thrives when you can give freely and without hesitation, without sacrificing your own sense of self. And as you continue to support him and love him, remember that the most beautiful form of love is one that enriches both your lives equally without losing sight of who you are. Number 5. Love generously without losing yourself. I once had a conversation with Eleanor in a painting class. Over 60, she had a calm demeanor, but her eyes sparkled as though she carried a secret about love. Her husband often said that he didn't just love the way she cared for him, but the way she existed as a complete and whole woman. Eleanor would cook the dinners he liked, write sweet notes and leave them in the books he was reading, and listen to the stories he repeated over and over. But she never dissolved herself completely into the relationship. Every morning, she spent an hour in the garden, chatting with the rose bushes she'd planted when she was young. On weekends, she would still take walks with her friends around the museum and keep her yoga class on Tuesdays. She loved, but that love didn't consume her. It radiated from a wellspring she had built within herself long before he arrived. Eleanor's generosity in love wasn't about self-sacrifice. It was about her own completeness being given freely. She could give unconditionally because she never lost her core. And that's what made her love something he could trust. It didn't demand, it wasn't binding, and it didn't crave constant reassurance. It breathed. It was generous. It was enduring. Eleanor once shared, "I want him to see me as a gift in his life, not a replacement for it." That's a truth few are willing to admit. Mature love doesn't drain, it fills. It doesn't consume, it creates space for both to grow. In youth, many believe love is about becoming one, blending every difference. But as we grow older, we realize the beauty of two whole individuals choosing to be together, consciously renewing that choice every day. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry once wrote, "Love does not consist in gazing at each other, but in looking outward together in the same direction." But Eleanor showed me something deeper. Sustainable love is nurtured by separate roots. A tree cannot stand firm when it leans entirely on another tree. But when two trees grow side by side, their roots intertwining, the entire garden becomes strong. So when you love generously while maintaining your identity, you are both a refuge and an inspiration. The man beside you will know that your heart belongs to him, but your soul will always belong to yourself. And it's this balance that makes him want to hold your hand, not just through one chapter, but all the way to the end. As we conclude today's journey, I want to leave you with this thought. True, lasting love is not about losing yourself in someone else, but about building a relationship where both partners can thrive individually while growing together. When you embody these qualities, confidence, inspiration, deep appreciation, emotional safety, and generosity in love, you create a bond that not only attracts, but also sustains a man who is ready to commit to a future with you. Love after 60 has a unique magic that is built on a foundation of self-awareness, mutual respect, and genuine connection. When you stop relying on him, inspire him to be better, value him for who he truly is, become his emotional safe haven, and love generously without losing yourself, you invite a love that is rich, deep, and long-lasting. So, if this resonates with you, embrace these principles in your own journey of love and relationships. You deserve a love that is true, fulfilling, and enduring. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with someone who might need these reminders. Remember, love is not about perfect moments. It's about building something real together. Thanks for watching my video, and see you next time.